tonight on Y News. The Armed Forces of the Philippines maintains white or normal alert status in Metro Manila despite threats of terrorism. The Philippine National Police lifts restricted custody over Police Superintendent Marvin Marcos and his men.
PNP Chief Ronald de Rosa challenges Senator Leila De Lima to prove her allegations involving Secretary Bong Go. Senator Leila De Lima is a no-show in today's preliminary investigation of her drug cases at the Department of Justice.
Repatriation is underway for the remains of the Brazilian football players killed in a plane crash in Colombia. And UNTV's partner in public service, the Member Church of God International or MCGI, has received another Jose Rizal Award for this year.
Y News begins now.
From the UNTV News and Rescue Command Center, this is Y News with Angelo Castro III, Gerry Alcantara, and Darlene Basingan.
Good evening. The Armed Forces of the Philippines maintains white or normal alert status in Metro Manila despite threats of terrorism. Rosa will tell us why.
Though the Philippine National Police raised its alert status throughout the country to Terror Alert Level 3, the AFP maintains its normal alert status in Metro Manila after the foiled bombing near U.S. Embassy recently.
Threat that has been seen through the presence of a bomb in front of the American Embassy is already addressed, and that action is concretely being taken that warrants no increase of any alert level.
However, the Joint Task Force NCR of the AFP is ready to assist the PNP if additional assistance is required in maintaining security in Metro Manila. For now, PNP is primarily responsible for securing the main cities while the armed forces will only provide support. Meanwhile, the AFP remains its highest alert in conflict-affected areas in Mindanao. And in line with President Rodrigo Duterte's appeal to the Moro people to cooperate with the initiative of the Government for Peace, the military is also open for talks if the terrorist groups such as Abu Sayyaf and the Maute are willing to.
And this initiative for peace that has been sounded off by the President has the support and backing of the armed forces. Our only request is that we must not allow this at the expense of justice.
Meanwhile, the military assures the public that there is nothing to worry about regarding security situation in Metro Manila. However, AFP reminds the public that it is the responsibility of everyone, not only of the policemen and soldiers, to secure and maintain peace.
Yan po ay magagampanan nila sa pamamagitan ng pagiging mapagmasid, pagiging alerto, pagiging vigilant, at laging conscious po sa mga lugar na kinaroroonan nyo.
Rosa, UNTV News and Rescue, Malacanang.
The restrictive custody imposed on Police Superintendent Marvin Marcos and his men has been temporarily lifted. Lea Ilagan will tell us why.
Police Superintendent Marvin Marcos and 17 of his men are no longer inside Camp Crame. PNP Internal Affairs Service Deputy Inspector General Police Chief Superintendent Angelo says the restrictive custody has been temporarily lifted. This is to allow them to get important documents in Leyte that they will use in their counter affidavit. Despite this, the policemen's status remains floating and no assignment or positions will be given to them yet.
They are still in floating status. They are assigned with the Police Holding and Admin Unit of the Philippine National Police located in National Headquarters Camp Crame. However, yung restrictive custody nila is lifted to give them a chance to go back to Region 8 to get their papers which they need for their counter affidavits to be complete.
Marcos and his men are also given an extension to submit their counter affidavits, which they are supposed to submit on Friday.
It is within their right to have it extended, so but then again I will be reminding them to submit it as soon as possible because we have to proceed already with the summary hearing of their case so that it can come to a conclusion and we can close this case and then report to the people that this is what really happened, these are the parties accountable, or these are the guilty, these are the non-guilty parties.
Leoterio also clarified that not only members of the CIDG Region 8 are asked to submit their counter affidavits, but also members of the Philippine Maritime, which were also part of the raid at the Baybay Sub-Provincial Jail. It can be recalled that PNP Chief Police Director General Ronald De Rosa issued restrictive custody to Marcos and his men last week to their involvement in the killing of Albuera Leyte Mayor Rolando Espinosa Sr. Dea Ilagan, UNTV News and Rescue Camp Crame.
PNP Chief Ronald De Rosa challenges Senator Leila De Lima to prove her allegations involving Secretary Bong Go. Marge Navarro will tell us why.
Sabihin niyo po na sa akin kung sino yung source niya. Sabihin ko kung sino yung kumpare ko na nakausap ko. Pinakiusap sa akin.
Police Chief Ronald De Rosa dares Senator Leila De Lima to name her source over her claims that it was Secretary Bong Go who ordered De Rosa to reinstate Police Superintendent Marvin Marcos as the chief of CIDG Region 8. However, De Rosa did not deny that someone requested the reinstatement of Marcos and his men to the CIDG, but he asserts it was not Bong Go.
Nasa meron kong kumpare, hindi siya.
De Rosa also dares the senator to file charges against him in connection with the issue. Marcos and his group were involved in the killing of Albuera Leyte Mayor Rolando Espinosa Sr. Meanwhile, De Lima insists she will never divulge her source, who revealed that it was Bong Go who requested De Rosa to reinstate Marcos. Instead, De Lima challenged General Bato to name the higher official who ordered him to reinstate the police official. She noted that it is the general's duty to the public to name the person who ordered him to do so. Marge Navarro, UNTV News and Rescue Philippines.
Some lawmakers are pushing to include all provincial jails in the investigation of illegal drug operations in the country. Nel Maribuhok will tell us why.
The House Committee on Public Order and Safety Chairman Congressman Romeo Acop agrees with extending the House drug probe beyond the National Penitentiary to include the whole country. The suggestion comes after the Senate investigation on the killing of Albuera Mayor Rolando Espinosa, where his son Kerwin testified, and after the believed drug trade probe of the House Committee on Justice.
Para malaman natin kung paano yung mga nasa loob nakakapag-transact ng business outside the National Believed Prison. Mabasa mo yung istorya ni Mr. Kerwin Espinosa. He started from a few grams of shabu from where he earned so much until he graduated na naging 10 kilos na yung in-order niya.
According to the chairman of House Committee on Dangerous Drugs, Congressman Robert Barbers, his committee will lead the probe in aid of legislation and in relation to pending bills in the lower house.
Nagpaplano kami ng isang investigation doon naman sa mga proliferation of drugs outside of the NBP sa lahat ng mga presuhan sa buong bansa.
Some of the pending bills in connection with fighting illegal drugs is the House Bill number 588 or the Strengthening the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency or PDEA, the proposal to establish a special court or a dangerous drugs court, and the exemptions of drug trafficking and illegal drugs offenses in Republic Act number 4200 or the Anti-Wiretapping Law. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue, House of Representatives.
Senator Leila De Lima was a no-show in today's preliminary investigation of her alleged drug cases at the Department of Justice. Roderick Mendoza will tell us why.
Senator Leila De Lima and other respondents did not show up at today's hearing on the complaints filed before the Department of Justice in relation to the illegal drug trade in New Bilibid Prison. Only former NBP Superintendent Richard Schwarzkopf attended the hearing, while the rest of the respondents, including former Bucor Director Franklin Bucayo and former Justice Undersecretary Francisco Baraan III, sent lawyers and representatives. De Lima's representative arrived after the hearing to receive copies of the complaints. Ronald and other high-profile inmates snubbed the hearing. Most of the respondents requested for a month to submit their counter affidavit, but the prosecution panel decided to give them 19 days and set the next hearing on December 21 at 2 in the afternoon. The respondents are required to attend the next hearing to subscribe to their counter affidavits.
Bigyan po ninyo ng 10 days yan, hingi din naman ang extension yan. At saka nakita nyo naman yung kapal. So, hindi naman namin pinagbigyan yung 30 days. So, only 19 days. So, I think that's reasonable.
We find these proceedings very, very unfortunate. Another dilatory tactics ng mga abogado. But we'll give the DOJ a benefit of the doubt.
A lawyer for the complainant says they will still move for a speedy resolution of the cases.
We understand the predicament of the DOJ because this is a very complicated case, no? But then again, there's a law. The complaint that we filed is a violation of 9165, no? The Anti-Drug Abuse Act of the 2002. Section 90 of the said law provides that within 30 days, the preliminary investigation should be resolved.
De Lima is facing charges for drug trafficking, graft, bribery, and violation of Code of Conduct and Ethical Standards for public officials and employees. His charges stemmed from De Lima's alleged complicity in believed drug trade and for receiving money from imprisoned drug lords when she was still the Justice Secretary. Roderick Mendoza, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
The 410 members of the PNP Special Action Force assigned as jail guards at the New Bilibid prison will now return to their mother unit. June Soria will tell us why.
Philippine National Police Chief Ronald de la Rosa today leads the ceremony of the turnover of the New Bilibid prison from the first batch of PNP Special Action Force troopers to their comrades. De la Rosa commends the service of the previous batch of troopers and at the same time advises the new batch not to give in to any illegal practices, especially extortion from inmates.
There were many attempts to discredit you. There were many attempts na siraan kayo dahil nga nahihirapan na sila sa kanilang sindikato sa loob. But because of pure honesty and pure integrity, hindi nila kayo nasira. Hindi nila tayo nasira. Kaya napakalaki ng pasalamat ko sa inyo.
On July 21 this year, SAP troopers were deployed at NBP due to proliferation of illegal drugs inside the National Penitentiary. Meanwhile, the Bureau of Corrections has new director in the person of Director Ronald Asuncion. He replaced Attorney Benjamin de los Santos, who will serve as Bucor Deputy Director for Operations.
There's a lot of work and cleaning to be done. Maraming basura, hindi lang sa loob. Sa labas, marami. Nasa labas naman yung drugs eh.
For this reason, Bucor will be constructing the additional Building 15 to house high-profile inmates. There are currently 44 high-profile inmates sheltered at Building 14. The new building will be equipped with glass dividers at the visiting area, which they target to finish within 3 months. This is in connection with the PNP and Bucor's plan to defer illegal transaction between inmates and their guests to cut the inmates' connection from outside the penitentiary.
Sila Bandero, maximum sa maximum compound. Yung transaction doon was done not through cellphone, not through internet, but through human courier. Yung bisita niya na pumapasok doon sa loob, binibigyan niya ng instruction.
Jun Soriao, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Senator Leila De Lima is pushing for the passage of a bill that seeks to improve the criminal justice system, which she says is a key to deterring crimes in the country. Joyce Balancho will tell us why.
Senator Leila De Lima is firm against the reimposition of death penalty in the country. Attending a forum at the Institute of Human Rights in the UP College of Law, De Lima reiterates the importance of valuing the right to life of every individual. She says she has filed a bill in the Senate which aims to reform the current criminal justice system. In her bill, De Lima suggests the removal of parole privileges and the lengthening to 50 years the imprisonment of a person serving a reclusion perpetua sentence. For De Lima, this can be an alternative to the death penalty.
Ang pinakasolusyon talaga is yung isagawa na yung mga genuine reforms sa ating criminal justice system. Kung tama ang pagpaparusa, tamang parusa ang binibigay sa imprisonment at tama rin ang pagpapalakad sa ating correctional system.
De Lima maintains reimposing the death penalty is a clear violation of the international law. She claims her country is a signatory to a convention, joining the other countries in a call to abolish the death penalty.
We committed not to reimpose death penalty. We would be retrogressing, especially that the global trend is towards abolition.
Albay Representative Edsel Lagman, who shares parallel views, also attended the forum.
Ang mangyayari nito, it will exacerbate injustice. It will spawn too much injustice because of the flawed judicial and prosecutorial systems.
President Rodrigo Duterte has been vocal in his intention to reimpose death penalty during his term. Just this week, the House Subcommittee has approved a substitute bill in favor of this. House Speaker Pantaleon Alvarez has also promised to pass this before the year ends. In Senate, no hearing has been set to discuss some pending bills. Senator De Lima believes this measure will not be easily approved in the Senate.
Sa tingin ko naman ho, sa amin sa Senado, mas magiging maingat kami, mas magiging talagang mabusisi sa aming pagtalakay doon sa mga pending bills.
Joyce Balancio, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
The Judicial and Bar Council today votes on the short list of candidates for the position of Supreme Court Associate Justice Jose Perez, who is retiring on December 14. Court of Appeals Justice Jose Reyes Jr. tops the list with 7 votes. Also on the list were CA Justices Japar Dima Ampao and Apolinario Bruselas and Sandigan Bayan Justice Samuel Martires, who got 5 votes each. CA Presiding Justice Andres Reyes Jr. also made it to the list with 4 votes. President Duterte's first appointee to the Supreme Court will come from this list. The JBC is set to vote on another short list of candidates on December 9 for the position of Justice Arturo Brion, who will retire on December 29. Motorists are experiencing heavy traffic along EDSA southbound lane. Nel Maribuhok is at EDSA Philam to tell us why live. Yes, Nel, go ahead.
Good evening, Darlene. To our motorists, expect heavy traffic in EDSA south and northbound, particularly in Shaw Boulevard up to Ayala Avenue. Let's check out our traffic situation here in EDSA. Vehicles approaching Quezon Avenue will be slow-moving starting from Balintawak area. Thus, motorists will experience moderate to heavy traffic flow. Traffic is moderate in Bansalangin up to SM North. Motorists will continuously experience delays in Quezon Avenue area and NEPA Q-Mart. Likewise, expect moderate to heavy traffic from Aurora Boulevard intersection all the way to Ortigas area. Heavy traffic is ongoing starting from Shaw Boulevard to Pioneer Boni and up to Ayala Avenue intersection. Traffic will be light as vehicles approach Taft Avenue. Going back here in Quezon City, our motorists will experience heavy traffic from Malibay to Buendia, Orense, Guadalupe up to SM Mega Mall. Vehicles in those areas are currently stuck in traffic. Let's check out our live points. In EDSA Guadalupe, You will see that both lanes, our motorists are now experiencing heavy traffic. It's from Guadalupe going to Shaw Boulevard. Also from Orense going to Ayala, heavy traffic in that area. Meanwhile, vehicles are slow moving in Cubao area up to Nepa Q Mart, but situation will be light when they reach Timog intersection. In EDSA Bagong Barrio, motorists going to Monumento, vehicles are fast moving in that area. And going to Balintawak Muñoz, our motorists will experience moderate traffic flow. In Technohub Commonwealth, there were no big problems in Commonwealth area. From Pilcoa, light traffic but approaching Tandansora, vehicles are slow moving but light traffic situation up to Batasan area. Meanwhile, going back to Pilcoa, vehicles are fast moving from Evergotesco up to Pilcoa area. In Recto Avenue, Manila, going to Divisoria, light traffic in that area. You will experience slow moving in the major intersections. Going to Legarda, moderate traffic flow. Also moderate traffic in España, particularly in A. Maceda, Vicente Cruz, and Lerma. In Baclaran, Rojas Boulevard, Parañaque City. To those who are going to Manila, light traffic in that area except approaching to major intersections. Motorists will experience moderate traffic. But from Baclaran going to Coastal Road, vehicles are fast moving in that area. In C5E Rodriguez Pasig, vehicles from Makati going to Libis, light traffic flow in that area. Also, if you are from Libis to Makati, vehicles are also fast moving. Except in C5 Green Meadows intersection going to Kalayaan, moderate to heavy traffic flow. And moderate traffic flow going to Capitol Hills. And that is our traffic update here in EDSA. Going back to you, Darlene.
Thank you, Nell. And that's Nell Maribuhok reporting live from EDSA PhilAm.
Next in Y News. Human Rights Victims Claims Board assures to finish the distribution of claims before the board's term ends in 2018.
The Philippine National Police Aviation Security Group confirms that there is no Laglag Bala syndicate operating at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport. And UNTV's partner in public service, the Members Church of God International, has received another Rizal Award for this year.
Y News will be right back. Human Rights Victims Claims Board assures martial law victims that they will receive their reparation before the end of the board's term in May of 2018. Ray Pelaya will tell us why.
The Human Rights Victims Claims Board is carefully screening the documents of all the applicants for reparation and recognition as martial law victims. Chairperson Lina Sarmiento said they have to be careful in checking the applications because they already found fake documents before.
Meron kaming nakikitang mga signs of tampering. So yung mga ganyan, kaya kami nag-iingat.
But the group CELDA is not contented with the board's performance. They flocked at the Claims Board's office at UP Diliman to ask for the chairperson's resignation.
23% pa lang daw ang napoprocess nila or 17,000 ng
75,000 applicants. Sabi ko, di patay na yung biktima pag hindi nila tatapusin eh.
The board estimates that they are done with the 30% of the applications by the end of 2016 and promise to finish the adjudication of 75,730 applicants before the end of 2017. They will also hire additional personnel next year to fast-track the process of documents. Beneficiaries will receive an amount from the 10 billion pesos fund depending on the degree of violation the claimant suffered during martial law. Ray Pilayo, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
The Philippine National Police Aviation Security Group confirms that there is no laglag bala syndicate operating at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport. Monokson will tell us why.
Passengers at the NAIA don't have to worry anymore because the PNP Aviation Group has confirmed that there is no laglag bala syndicate operating at the airport. On the program Get It Straight with Daniel Razon, PNP ABSE Group Director Mau Aplasca said that based on their investigation, there is no evidence that will prove the existence of an organized group planting bullets on passengers' luggage.
Wala kaming nakitang ebidensya na talagang meron pong orchestrated o syndicated group na nag-operate dyan sa laglag bala sa ating mga airports.
To allay the public fears, the ABSE Group believe all personnel involved in the complaint.
Lahat po ng involved nung araw na involved doon sa mga kaso, although wala namang ebidensya na nakita sa kanila, atin pong inalis sila sa ating mga airports para wala pa yung agam-agam ng ating kababayan.
All passengers that will be caught bringing ammunition will be allowed to board, but the ammunition will just be confiscated. Those who will be caught carrying more than one bullet will undergo a background check. Once cleared, they will be allowed to board the plane. Mon Hokson, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
20 MRT-3 trains are now operational. Grace Casen will tell us why.
More than 500,000 passengers are expected to ride the MRT-3 during the holiday season, according to General Manager Leo Deo Manalo. To accommodate the influx of commuters, MRT-3 will begin the operation of 20 trains that contains more than 60 coaches. A far cry from the 18 trains that used to operate during regular hours. From a previous 8-minute interval, it is now down to 4 minutes. General Manager Manalo says they also have reserved trains in case of glitches in running trains.
Yung 20 po is our maximum. So given that we have 2 more, parang ito po is reserve. So in case there will be some removals, so we can immediately respond to the demand. So malaki pong tulong in terms of operation.
The public need not worry because maintenance provider Busan Universal Rail has already repaired rail's glitches. Despite the fact that some signaling systems are obsolete, they are still functional.
We are doing substantial or significant preventive maintenance to avert any incident. Still, we are confident to say that the MRT-3 system is a safe system.
In the previous administration, there were times when only 4 coaches would be running. It resulted in numerous inconveniences among long-suffering passengers. Grace Casen, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
The Manila North Tollways has designated 2 additional lanes for motorists bound for Mabalacat, Pampanga. Joanano will tell us why.
In preparation for the surge of motorists heading to the province this holiday season, 2 additional northbound lanes have been officially opened by the Manila North Tollways Corporation for easier and faster travel for motorists bound for Mabalacat in Pampanga.
It actually provides more capacity para sa motorists. In effect, kung normal na travel, minimal lang effect as far as yung distance o yung travel time. It actually provides convenience and safer travel para sa mga motorists.
The newly opened carriage is a 4-kilometer stretch amounting to more than 200 million pesos. Meanwhile, the Toll Regulatory Board assures there is no adjustment in toll fees at the North Luzon Expressway amid a series of projects being carried out along NLEX to improve toll services. Aside from the additional toll lanes in Bukawe exit and additional northbound lanes, road repair projects are ongoing in San Simon Town and other towns along NLEX. MNTC has also announced the suspension of all road projects at NLEX beginning December 15 so as not to obstruct traffic flow and ensure light flow of traffic.
Magsisis lahat yung natitigil yung aming mga road works. So mga minor corrective works lang ang mag-exist, but yung mga major road works, titigil namin to provide yung all of the lanes para sa mga motorists.
Joan Nano, UNTV News and Rescue, Mabalacat, Pampanga.
Anyone can now file a complaint online through the I Will Act portal of the MMDA. Mon Hokson will tell us why.
The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority can now act on motorist and commuter complaints faster. The agency has launched the I Will Act portal, an online complaint site that can be found on the MMDA webpage. Just click on the I Will Act tab on the website. Fill out the form. It is important to answer all required information, especially the complaint. A photo of the offense or offender must be uploaded to the portal. Just wait for the confirmation from the MMDA as proof that the complaint was received. Anyone can report the following: kotong enforcers, illegally parked vehicles, illegal loading and unloading, bus with open doors, sidewalk obstructions, illegal terminals, overloaded PUVs, unattended excavation, and garbage-laden waterways. MMDA said that the portal is a big help due to the small number of traffic enforcers deployed on the streets.
Hindi ko kakayanin talaga nung 3,000 tao natin. Kino-compute namin bawat kilometrahe parang isang tao per isang enforcer per kilometer lumalabas
The motorcycle groups will also help the MMDA by submitting complaints using the I Will Act portal. The MMDA will need the cooperation of the complainants using the portal because they might be summoned in the investigation regarding their complaint. Mon Hokson, UNTV News and Rescue, Makati City.
The Armed Forces of the Philippines celebrates its 81st anniversary with a very timely and relevant activity. Brian De Paz will tell us why.
Strong earthquakes in different countries are reported almost every week. Such natural occurrences prompted authorities to conduct an activity called Disaster Responders Challenge 2016. The activity is participated in by 29 disaster responder teams from the Armed Forces of the Philippines, Bureau of Fire Protection, local government units, and private sectors from the National Capital Region.
This is the first ever Disaster Responders Challenge. Collapse structure, nakafocus sa collapse structure. Together with AFP and LGUs.
The scenario they held today simulated a 7.2 magnitude quake that supposedly hit Metro Manila. An old building in Camp Aguinaldo was used for the simulation. Each team showed their capabilities in responding quickly to difficult situations. Disaster response teams with ambulance immediately responded and established a command post.
SOP naman yun ng mga responders natin. Alam naman nila na bago sila mag-penetrate to sa hazardous environment, kinakailangan sila well protected using their personal protective gear.
According to Brigadier General Eric Paraino, AFP's former commander of Civil Relations Service, the said simulation is different from the shake drill being conducted in Metro Manila yearly.
Originally, dinesign namin ito na maging parang competitive. But then later, we found out na may iba't ibang kakayahan at peculiarities at may iba't ibang responders units.
Ibigay lang scenario, sila na bahala mag-manage at sila na mag-penetrate. Hindi sa scripted.
The said activity is in partnership with the MMDA and some private sector groups like the JCI or Junior Chamber International Manila. Authorities also plan to conduct a similar drill every year. The Disaster Response Challenge 2016 is part of the 81st anniversary celebration of the AFP this month. The activity runs until tomorrow. Brian De Paz, UNTV News and Rescue, Camp Aguinaldo.
More than 100 residents of Rosas Avenue in Quezon City are thankful to UNTV and its partners in public service. Leslie Longboan will tell us why.
UNTV, together with its partners in public service, the Rotary Club of Neapolitan Fairview and the Rotary District 3780, conducted a medical mission activity at the Rotary Center in Rosas Avenue, Quezon City. Women and children were the primary beneficiaries of the said event.
Isa po sa programa ng Rotary Club of Neapolitan Fairview ay makatulong po sa mga bata, sa mga ina. Kaya itong araw po na ito sa Obigayni and Pedia Day, nandito po kami, sama-sama po kami na nakikiisa po sa pagtulungan po ng UNTV.
Over 165 residents came and benefited from the group's public service activity. Among the services rendered were pediatric consultation, pap smear, pelvic ultrasound, and Obigayni checkup, which were all for free, including medicines prescribed by the volunteer doctors. For this, Rosas Avenue residents are thankful to UNTV, the Rotary Club, and the Members Church of God International or MCGI. The residents also hope that this will not be the last time the group will conduct public services in their area. Leslie Longboan, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
UNTV's partner in public service, the Members Church of God International or MCGI, has received another Jose Rizal Award for this year. Aiko Miguel will tell us why.
The Department of Health and the Philippine Blood Center have given recognition to more than 100 organizations in this year's Dugong Bayani Awards, named after national heroes.
This year, the recipient of the award, they were able to give 5,587 units. The Members Church of God International is popularly known as Dating Daan. Okay, everyone, I think they deserve a standing ovation.
But only the Members Church of God International was given the Jose Rizal Award, the highest recognition in the field of blood donation in the Philippines. This is because of MCGI's effort to donate more than 5,000 blood units from January until November of this year. MCGI has been receiving the Jose Rizal Award yearly, and this has been the 5th year since it first received the recognition in 2012, as it continues to support the blood donation activities of the DOH and the Philippine Blood Center. MCGI's representative Bradani Navales received the award.
Ay hindi lang naman din tuwing mayroon lang kung ganitong mga pagkilala, no? Kundi sa halip ito ay ginagawa nating tuloy-tuloy sapagkat yun naman po ang minumulat sa atin ni Kuya Daniel, ang paggawa ng mabuti kailanman hindi magbubunga ng masama. Ang amin pong pagpapasalamat ay nasa Panginoong Diyos at sa lahat ng mga kapatid na patuloy na sumusuporta sa gawaing ganito. And of course, to God be the glory. Salamat po sa Diyos.
DOH and PBC express gratitude to all their partners in blood donation drives. The public is also urged to join in saving the lives of Filipinos in need of blood.
We want this to be the culture of all Filipinos, that we become regular blood donors. All of you are heroes, are awardees for this morning. We'll really keep up this advocacy so that we can have adequate blood supply in this country.
Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
Coming up, Paris, France and its region currently face a 2-day pollution alert.
Repatriation is underway for the remains of the Brazilian football players killed in a plane crash in Colombia.
And the Thai people welcomes their new king.
More from Y News after this break. President Rodrigo Duterte again issues a warning to members of the security forces to prepare for acts of terrorism. Victor Cosare is in Davao City to tell us why live. Yes, Victor.
Diego, President Rodrigo Duterte was guest of honor and speaker in today's closing ceremony of the motorcycle riding course Class 06-2016. Being a motorcycle rider himself, the President gave some tips to the graduates on how to take care of themselves while riding their motorcycles. He made emphasis on not to drink and drive and to always wear helmet when riding their bike. But aside from this, the chief executive pointed out to members of the security forces to prepare for terrorism. He says even if they are only few, but human intelligence is needed to thwart it. The President says they see this as an impending danger in the next 2 to 3 years. The issue he again raised, why the problem in Mindanao continues, is moral nationalism, and the way to resolve it is to talk to everybody. Early today, the President had a meeting with MILF Chairman Alhaj Morada. Meanwhile, tonight, the President will meet with the couple Benito and Wilma Tiamzon of the Communist Party of the Philippines to discuss matters related to the ongoing peace negotiations with the CPP, NPA, NDF. On the drug problem issue, the President cleared Police Chief Superintendent Asher Dolina from any involvement in the illegal drug trade. However, he stresses that CIDG Region 8 Superintendent Marvin Marcos is not yet off the hook, and their own investigation and case buildup is still ongoing. The President also cleared Secretary Bong Go from the allegation that it was him who called PNP Chief Ronald De La Rosa to reinstate Marcos to the CIDG. President Duterte also defended De La Rosa, stating that it is the Chief PNP's prerogative to retain or not an official. After the program, the President immediately left the venue to meet the Tiamzons. And that is the latest from our end. Back to you, Diego.
Thank you, Victor Cosare, reporting live from Davao City. Expect thunderstorms in the eastern section of the country. The Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical and Astronomical Services Administration, or PAGASA, says this is due to the effect of easterlies or the wind blowing from the Pacific Ocean. Meanwhile, the northeast monsoon affects the extreme northern Luzon. Light rains will be experienced in the islands of Batanes, Calayan, and Babuyan. Isolated rain showers and thunderstorms are also possible to prevail over Metro Manila and the rest of the country. No tropical cyclone is expected to affect the country this weekend. Paris and its region face a 2-day pollution alert. June Garin will tell us why.
Paris's skyline was shrouded in smog on Thursday, December 1, as the city and its region faced a 2-day pollution alert due to meteorological conditions. The Regional Health Agency has asked its residents to reduce their physical activity in order to lessen the impact of pollution on public health.
Ce pic de pollution est dû, d'une part, aux surémissions causées par les températures plus fraîches. Donc on a du chauffage de façon plus importante. On a aussi les autres sources de pollution qui sont le trafic et les industries. Donc ces facteurs favorisent une accumulation de pollution et des conditions météorologiques qui empêchent la dispersion de ces différents polluants.
The officer added that pollution in Paris is elevated throughout the year, estimating that over 1.1 million residents in the Ile-de-France Paris region were regularly exposed to high pollution levels. Police recommendations included lowering the maximum speed of vehicles by 20 kilometers per hour, reducing manufacturing emissions, as well as a prohibition of burning organic waste in the open air. Commuter Stéphane Bourgeois, who travels into Paris from the suburbs, says he noticed a difference when he arrived in the city.
C'est vrai que je le vois régulièrement quand j'arrive en train de banlieue sur Saint-Lazare. Rien que la qualité de l'air quand on arrive sur Paris, ça devient quasiment évident maintenant. On sent la différence systématiquement.
Not everyone, however, is aware of the spike.
Le ciel est bleu, donc c'est peut-être psychologique, mais on a l'impression de respirer correctement, mais un peu frais, donc voilà. Après maintenant, je ressens les pots d'échappement là, maintenant, mais j'ai pas l'impression de mal respirer, en tout cas.
On se rend pas compte de la différence, sûrement parce qu'on est en permanence dedans, quoi. Ça doit flirter à pas grand chose, mais bon, si on n'y est pas en permanence, on doit se rapprocher très fortement du pic, mais on ne s'en rend pas plus compte que ça. Non.
Air tariff is expected to remove the warning by December 2, but the said pollution levels will still be too high in the French capital. Jungarin, UNTV News and Rescue, Paris, France.
Australia announces its plan to spend nearly 1.3 billion Australian dollars over the next 5 years for a very important project. Nina Bascon will tell us why.
Australia has decided to shed nearly 1.3 billion Australian dollars or 965 million US dollars over the next 5 years to improve the well-being of the Great Barrier Reef, the world's largest living ecosystem, in an attempt to stop UNESCO from classifying the World Heritage Site as in danger. Much of the accelerated spending will address water quality and ecosystem health. UNESCO will now consider Australia's progress. If it is unsatisfied with Australia's performance, it could place the Great Barrier Reef on an in-danger list, embarrassing Australia's government.
And that report will hopefully see Australia stay off the endanger watch list. We're very concerned about the health of the reef. It's suffered a major bleaching event, but it is a great national and world treasure.
Earlier this week, Australian scientists said 2/3 of a 700 kilometers or 435-mile stretch of coral within the Great Barrier Reef has been killed in the past 9 months, the worst die-off ever recorded on the World Heritage Site. Their finding of the die-off in the reef's north is a major blow for tourism at reef, which attracts about 5.2 billion Australian dollars or 3.9 billion US dollars in spending each year. Climate scientists argue that increased carbon dioxide in the atmosphere traps heat radiating from Earth, creating global warming. Australia is one of the largest carbon emitters per capita because of its reliance on coal-fired power plants for electricity. In 2015, Australia developed a 35-year plan to improve the Great Barrier Reef that calls to limit pollution and restrictions on developing of new ports. Nina Bascon, UNTV News and Rescue, Melbourne, Australia.
Mayors of Sydney and Vancouver urge cities around the world to pursue their efforts to mitigate the effects of climate change even without state funding. Sheila Reyes will tell us why.
The mayors of Sydney and Vancouver expressed on Wednesday that even without national government support, cities around the world can combat climate change. This amid fears that a Donald Trump U.S. presidency could undermine efforts to limit global warming. The two are in Mexico City for the C40 Mayors Summit, where nearly 50 mayors and deputies from around the globe will discuss environmental issues such as air pollution.
Denial doesn't stop climate change accelerating, so it's even more important for cities to do their bit, and it's really important. And I think an important message from Sydney to the US cities is, notwithstanding a Trump-type government, you can get on and do an incredible amount, as we have shown.
Since his election victory, President-elect Trump has said he was keeping an open mind on whether to pull out of the landmark 2015 Paris Agreement to tackle climate change. Cities are responsible for up to 70% of the world's harmful greenhouse gases, according to a 2011 report by the United Nations. Earlier in November, a group of 40 U.S. mayors sent an open letter to Trump stating that they would forge ahead in tackling climate change even without his support.
Canada and Australia, we've had very difficult governments in recent years that have denied climate change and slowed down progress to adapt.
Having faced less interest from the national governments in the past, both Robertson and Moore said that they have turned to the private sector to help solve climate-related problems. The Paris Accord seeks to limit global warming well below 2 degrees Celsius, or about 3.6 Fahrenheit above pre-industrial times. Sheila Reyes, UNTV News and Rescue, Toronto, Canada.
Preparations were made on Thursday to repatriate the bodies of the Brazilian soccer players and Bolivian citizens who were killed in a Colombian plane crash earlier this week. RC Reyes tells us why.
Preparations were made on Thursday to repatriate the bodies of the Brazilian soccer players and Bolivian citizens who were killed in a Colombian plane crash earlier this week. In a Medellin funeral home, flags bearing the team logo and ribbons with players' names were draped over dozens of coffins waiting to carry the remains back to Brazil. Family members watched the process, still trying to absorb the shock of the tragedy that killed 71 people, wiping out the Brazilian Chapecoense soccer team.
Es lo que más se quiere ahora, es salir para casa, llevar nuestros amigos, hermanos, todo, llevar para casa, porque la espera es la peor cosa que se tiene. Aparte que las autoridades en la Colombia tenemos que dejar muy importante eso. Estamos teniendo una atención muy grande. Lo que se pasó ayer en el estadio con toda la población es algo así que no se puede. Claro que nada va a traer nuestros familiares de vuelta, pero es un conforto.
In Bogotá, forensic authorities said the remains had been identified. Meanwhile, Bolivian authorities on Thursday suspended the license of the tiny charter airline that owned the doomed charter plane. Monday night's disaster sent shockwaves across the global soccer community and plunged Latin America's largest nation, Brazil, into mourning as it reels from a deep recession and political crisis. Colombian investigators said the crash might have resulted from lack of fuel on the plane, operated by charter airline Lamia Bolivia. Freddy Bonilla, Secretary of Airline Security at Colombia's Aviation Authority, said investigators combing the crash site on a wooded hillside outside of Medellin found no traces of fuel in the wreckage of the Bay 146 made by Britain's Bay Systems plc. RC Reyes, UNTV News and Rescue, Colombia.
An online petition was launched to condemn Britain's new plastic 5-pound notes. Jolvic Bermas tells us why.
Britain's new plastic 5-pound notes bearing the portrait of wartime Prime Minister Winston Churchill have fallen foul of thousands of people who object to the use of animal fats in their manufacture. An online petition against the notes started by campaigner Dog Mo was signed by more than 13,000 supporters in less than 24 hours on Thursday. After 2 days, it was up to 116,000. The Bank of England confirmed that tallow, which contains animal fats, is used in the production of the new currency, and said the substance was also commonly used in candles and soap. It also said that its supplier, Inovia, confirmed that an extremely small amount of tallow is used in the early stages of the production process. Inovia has said it is working with its supply chain on a potential solution.
It is a bit of a gaffe here by the Bank of England. No one likes to think that animals would have to be, deliberately killed in order to produce money. So I think this is something they're going to have to address, and I suspect the composition of our banknotes might change fairly quickly.
The new light blue 5-pound notes are worth just over $6 and were introduced in September. They are smaller and stronger with more security features than their predecessors, with the aim of making them harder to counterfeit.
A plastic 10-pound note featuring the author of Pride and Prejudice, Jane Austen, is due to appear next year. Jolvic Bermas, UNTV News and Rescue, London, United Kingdom.
86-year-old former U.S. astronaut Buzz Aldrin has been safely evacuated from the South Pole. Sonny Cos will tell us why.
Moonwalker Buzz Aldrin, the former U.S. astronaut and the second person to walk on the moon, was in stable condition after being evacuated from the South Pole to a New Zealand hospital because of a medical problem. Aldrin, 86, arrived by cargo plane in Christchurch, New Zealand, earlier on Friday, local time, according to the U.S. National Science Foundation, which manages U.S. Antarctic program. He was visiting the South Pole as part of the tourist group when his condition deteriorated. Aldrin has fluid in his lungs but was in good spirit and responding well to antibiotics. He would be kept in the hospital for observation. Aldrin was a fighter pilot during the Korean War before joining the U.S. astronaut program. On July 20, 1969, he stepped on the moon about 20 minutes after Neil Armstrong had taken the historic first step. Their moonwalk was part of the Apollo 11 lunar landing, was watched by a then record television audience of 600 million people. Aldrin last year helped to launch a research institute at the Florida Institute of Technology aimed at paving a path towards Mars exploration and settlement. Sonicos UNTV News and Rescue, New York, USA.
After the death of King Pumipon, the Thai people now have a new king. Kat Dumaraos will tell us why.
Crown Prince Maha Vajiralongkorn, 64, became Thailand's new king on Thursday, December 1st, after he accepted an invitation from Parliament to succeed his father, King Bhumibol Adulyadej, who died in October. Thai Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha made the announcement in a televised address to the nation shortly after Prince Vajiralongkorn, who will be known as King Maha Vajiralongkorn Bodintratep Phayawalangkorn, met Phonphet Vichitchonchai, President of the National Legislative Assembly, at Bangkok's Dusit Palace to accept the invitation.
รู้สึกยินดีนะที่มีรัชกาลขึ้นมานะรัชกาลที่ 10 ตอนนี้เรื่องของรูปต่างๆเนี่ยตอนนี้เพิ่งจะอยู่ระหว่างการดำเนินการนะฮะยอดจองก็คงยังไม่มากนะฮะส่วนใหญ่จะเป็นเรื่องของทางท่านหน่วยราชการเนี่ยก็จะต้องมีการอนุมัติลงมา
Thailand has been without a monarch since King Bhumibol's death, with the head of the King's Advisory Council, Pram Tinsulanon, 96, serving as regent. King Bhumibol was widely loved and regarded as a pillar of stability during decades of political turbulence and rapid development in the Southeast Asian nation.
คู่กันครับติดคู่กันเพราะท่านก็ทรงเป็นพระราชบิดาพระราชโอรสด้วยกันสืบราชวงศ์สันติวงศ์มาด้วยกันทุกพระองค์
The new king has yet to command the kind of adoration that his father received from Thais, and he has kept a much lower profile throughout most of his adult life. Kat Dumaraos, UNTV News and Rescue, Bangkok, Thailand.
Magnus Carlsen retains World Chess Championship title. Meanwhile, England Rugby Union head coach Eddie Jones praises squad, but says there's more to be done against Australia. Aaron Romero tells us why.
Nathan Hughes and Marlon Yard will start England's final test of the autumn series against Australia at Twickenham on Saturday, December 3rd, in two forced changes to the lineup that beat Argentina last weekend. Fiji-born forward Hughes replaces Billy Vunipola, who has been sidelined by knee surgery for his full test debut at number 8.
Big boots and big jersey. Billy's a big man. Look, Nathan's just got to play his own game. You know, it's a big test for him. First time to start for England.
England have overcome South Africa, Fiji and Argentina and are seeking a fourth successive win over the Wallabies to seal a series sweep and close out the year unbeaten. Meanwhile, Magnus Carlsen retains his World Chess Championship title with a defeat of Sergei Karyakin in a series of tie-breaking games. After 12 classical games of chess between Norwegian champ Carlsen and Russian challenger Karyakin, the two remained even, forcing tie-break series of 4 rapid matches in which each player was given 25 minutes to make moves. Carlsen is known as a strong player in rapid-style chess games and proved it by defeating the more defensive-minded Karyakin in 3 of the 4 games to clinch the overall win. The two split a prize pool of $1.1 million, with Carlsen taking home $660,000 for the win. Aaron Romero, UNTV News and Rescue, New York.
Those are the reasons behind the news. December 2, 2016. I'm Angelo Castro III.
Reasons we delivered to you as they unfold. I'm Gerry Alcantara.
And I'm Darlene Basingan, because we need to know.
We will always ask why. Thank you for watching. Why News.